Scattered in the countryside of modern-day Turkey are the ruins of the ancient Roman and Byzantine empires. From Alexander the Great to Constantine the Great, the empires of the Hellenistic and Roman worlds have left remnants of their cities throughout Turkey. Today, the modern traveler to Turkey can visit ancient sites offering a fascinating glimpse into life as it was thousands of years ago. A glimpse into Roman culture that eventually formed the foundation of modern Western civilization. This program will take you to some of the most awe-inspiring Roman ruins found anywhere. The Roman heritage of modern Turkey begins at the very birth of the Roman Empire. In 27 BC, the Roman Empire was established by its first emperor, Augustus. In the 300 years afterwards, the Roman Empire had grown too large and difficult to rule from the city of Rome. In 284 AD, the Emperor Diocletian decided to divide the Roman Empire into the East and West, with each region ruled by its own emperor. The Eastern Empire was governed out of Byzantium, and the Western Empire from Rome. Both regions were known equally as the Roman Empire. By 312 AD, Constantine I became emperor of the Western Empire. A year later, he would issue an edict that legalized Christianity for the first time, and Constantine became the first Christian emperor of Rome. It was 324 AD when the East and West were united again in a civil war that resulted in Constantine taking control of the eastern half of the empire. He then moved the capital of the newly united Roman Empire from the city of Rome to the newly named city of Constantinople. In time, the eastern half of the empire would adopt Greek in place of Latin, and its character would evolve away from the traditional Latin Empire. Eventually, the empire would divide again and exist as two halves of the same empire for another 150 years, until 476 AD when the Goths invaded Rome and removed the last Western emperor from power. By 555 AD, the Emperor Justinian had partially restored the former Roman Empire. This extended the Byzantine Empire to its greatest size until 634 AD, when Muslim armies began their centuries-long assaults by storming into Syria. Today, remnants of the Byzantine Empire are found in modern Turkey. Of all the Roman ruins that have survived in Turkey, few are more impressive than the ruins at Ephesus. For centuries, Ephesus was a thriving seaport in the Roman province of Asia and the second largest city in the Roman Empire, with a population of 300,000 people. When boats from Italy and Greece would arrive at the harbor, travelers would enter the city along this grand avenue called the Arcadian Way that ended at the Great Theater. With seating for 25,000, the Great Theater was huge by Roman standards and is still known for its excellent acoustics today. A short walk from the Great Theater along the street known as the Marble Way is the finely restored Library of Celsus. Built in the time of Emperor Hadrian, this library held 12,000 scrolls and was known all over the Roman Empire for its architecture. The library had 3 entrance doorways flanked by 4 statues set back in niches. To the right is the Gate of Augustus, leading to the Agora, or Roman Market. Celsus, for whom the library is named, was a revered Roman governor of Ephesus. His body is entombed under the library in a lead coffin. Up the hill from the library are the hillside villas where the wealthy of Ephesus lived. The mosaic floors and wall decorations have been painstakingly restored and offer a glimpse into the lives of the equestrian classes, the business owners that lived there. The Temple of Hadrian, built in 118 AD, has the head of Medusa as its most famous attribute. Ephesus has a strong link to early Christianity. It's the city where the Apostle Paul preached and wrote his letter to the Ephesians. The Apostle John lived and died here. And perhaps most importantly, Mary, the mother of Jesus, moved here after the crucifixion and lived the rest of her life here. This house in Ephesus has been officially recognized by the Vatican as the residence of the Virgin Mary. In the last century, 2 Catholic popes have visited this house. Like the great city of Ephesus, Miletus was an important port city for the Roman Empire until its harbor filled with silt. The city was eventually abandoned in the 6th century AD. This theater was originally built in the 4th century BC and 6 centuries later enlarged by the Emperor Trajan to the 15,000 seat capacity you see here. In the center of the first 2 rows are 4 columns signifying a special box for emperors. This was the site of the colossal harbor monument. The circular base once held a 25-foot tripod featuring a cauldron at the top. These Ionic columns are part of the remains of the northern agora. Completed in the 3rd century AD, this market street was 500 feet long with 64 columns and 30 shops. This entrance leads to the extensive baths of Faustina, built by the wife of Marcus Aurelius in 164 AD. The large complex featured water fountains, semi-private baths, and the Hall of the 9 Muses. The wall decorations included depictions of gladiators in battle. This pool was the Frigidarium, or cold pool. It was the first of 3 pools a person was expected to bathe in. The next 2 pools were filled with warm and then hot water, respectively. "2,000 years ago, Lake Baffa was a part of the Aegean Sea, a bay that slowly turned into a lake. Populating this area of the lake are the remains of Byzantine monasteries that were built by Christian monks. Christians escaping Sinai and southern Arabia sought refuge here in the 7th and 8th centuries AD. The Byzantines built a 6-kilometer-long defensive wall in the hills surrounding the monasteries. Amongst the ruins are dozens of ancient Carian rock tombs that predate the Roman Empire. The lake itself is a nature reserve and home to a remarkable variety of plant and animal species. Named after Aphrodite, the goddess of love, Aphrodisias was surrounded by quarries of exceptional marble. From those quarries, artists carved out beautiful sarcophagi, sculptures, and building facades. The splendid marble attracted the best sculptors from around the Roman Empire, and Aphrodisias became famous in the Roman world for its quality of stonework. This Augusteum was built as a structure of worship for the Emperor Augustus. The family of Julius Caesar, which included Octavian Augustus, claimed to be descended from Aphrodite. Typical of Roman cities is this Odeon, which was used for city council meetings and musical performances. Before succumbing to an earthquake, this Odeon featured a roof with tall windows and seated more than 1,700 people. This iconic structure in Aphrodisias is a monumental gateway known as the Tetrapylon. It was built around 200 AD and stands in front of a large courtyard in front of the Temple of Aphrodite. This stadium is one of the best preserved arenas of its kind in the Mediterranean region. 30,000 people once filled these seats to witness athletic contests modeled on the games of ancient Greece. One end of the stadium was later modified for smaller audiences to attend circuses and wild beast shows. This great stadium drew patrons from all over the surrounding region. Yielding to Christian beliefs, the city was renamed Hierapolis by the Byzantines in the 7th century. Overlooking the travertine terraces of Peninsula is the ancient Roman city of Hierapolis, built along the hillside. The Theatre of Hierapolis is its most outstanding structure. It was built during the time of Hadrian and is one of the best preserved ancient theaters in the world. The stage buildings have been mostly restored and feature detailed reliefs. 20,000 spectators could attend performances here, and there was reserved seating for distinguished guests in the front row. This theater remained in use well into the 14th century. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, most of Europe descended into the Dark Ages. During that time, the Eastern Empire continued to evolve Roman culture and technology. The ruins left behind by the Byzantine Empire reveal well over 1,000 years of stunning achievements in artistry, culture, and engineering. And Turkey remains an ideal place from which to discover these lost treasures of the Eastern Roman Empire.
There's only one man